Hi guys, it's Amy and it's Fabulous Friday. I just hope you've all had a wonderful week. The latest news with me is that I've actually returned to education this week, hence my collared, very smart shirt this week. I actually returned to education after about a 6-7 month absence due to depression, and I returned this week, so it's very daunting. I have been getting on well, and I've been making small and significant changes in the way that I perceive myself in my studies. And I've made a lot of wonderful friends, and some people that they do make me smile and they brighten up my day. Of course it hasn't come with struggles and it hasn't come easy, but I'm hoping I can persevere through it. And I just want to say thanks for all the support in regard to me leaving school and returning this week. But now I am home from a day of sixth form, I am going to talk about the topic for this week, which is about alternate therapies. I've actually just had a small look. I haven't really been on the internet much this week, so I haven't been able to check the other girls' videos, but everyone's wrote writing as their main form of therapy. Now I'm going to have to follow everyone else here and say that writing is also my number one form of alternate therapy. I mean, there are plenty of ways to have therapy. People think that therapy is just about talking, and yes, of course it can be. And I remember my therapist once saying to me, therapy isn't just about talking. If you find it a lot easier for you, we can just sit and you can draw a picture, you can write something down, you can make even do some photography, just anything that's kind of personal or that you can use to reflect your emotion at the time and to help the therapist understand you. But I'm gonna have to follow everybody else here and say writing. I think a lot of people that suffer with mental health illnesses have a lot of creativity in them. I think everybody has the capacity to be creative, even if they don't think that they are. A lot of people say to me when I suggest to them to start maybe blogging or writing down their emotion, they always say to me, well, but I can't write, I can never process. And I understand some people aren't natural writers, but maybe if you just took the time to sit down and really channel and process how you are feeling at the time, it might be easier to find some kind of way of challenging that. And another thing, quickly before I move on, is something that I feel has, sorry you hear this bell, that has actually helped quite recently actually. It's called a reckless journal, and it's basically for anybody who isn't very artistic, hence why I bought it, but wants to have a creative side and wants to go out of their comfort zone a little bit. And the idea of the book is to wreck the journal. There is something on every page of the book that you can do. I have done a couple of these already. That's a bit gross, I'm not going to show you that. Basically there's stuff like rub here with dirt, you can take the book in the shower with you, glue in a random page from a newspaper, cover this page with white things, make a sudden, destructive, unpredictable movement with the journal. The whole point is to create is to destroy, make it your own, make it fun and funky. And this is also for people who struggle writing, struggle keeping a journal to reflect their emotion, and struggle getting a way out. And I really suggest that everybody, sorry I can't talk today, buys one of these. They're about £5 from Amazon. I think you can buy them from Amazon, yes. So I bought my one. It's a fantastic idea, and I've inspired so many people to get one recently through my other videos. So do it. Go and get one. So yes, I'm going to have to follow everybody here and say writing is my main passion. I'm just going to talk a little bit briefly about my experiences with writing. When I was younger, I was actually one of the first people in my class to learn how to read and write. So English and literature and writing, communicating through words, has always been something that I have been very good at. English has been something that has dominated my life in a huge way. I always used to love writing stories and writing poems. Even when I was a very young girl and I was an avid reader, I love reading. So it kind of reflects the person that I am today, as being this kind of very creative writer and blogger, and I do have a blog at the moment. I did have one on WordPress as well, but I've just recently moved over to Blogspot. So if you want to check me out on there, then please do. Writing helps me because I love the beauty of language, the aesthetics and the beauty, which is what I've just said, but the beauty of language is something that I believe can never be taken away from somebody. And when I was in year 8, so for all Americans, I would have been about 13. I was really badly bullied. And I started to keep journals, and that was the first time I really started to keep journals about how I was feeling. And I've still got these journals today, and it's really weird looking back on them, and my writing technique and the style that I used was just so different. But it was a way I could go home and think logically about what had happened in my day, and it was like talking to somebody that, you know, no one had to read it. That was fine. I was fine with that. I could just be completely open and honest with somebody, and I just felt so open and honest, and like I didn't have to. I think it also, sorry, I didn't actually finish my sentence, but I just thought of another one. I think it also helps you to channel and recognise emotion. Like when you're talking, sometimes you can't really remember what you said. Like I can't even remember what I said 5 minutes ago. But when you wrote something down, like when I read something back over, if I start a blog and then I start to read it back over, I realise, because I don't plan blogs, like I don't do like a plan. Like with my videos I do tend to do a little bit of planning, but with my blogging I do write the first thing that comes to my head, and I don't, you know, plan. And I think that's the best way to blog, actually, doing a bit of spontaneous blogging, because then you work out how you really feel maybe when you look back, and then you kind of look over it and you're like, well, I can see now how I was feeling, and the actual emotions that were going on through my head. People say that you have to be artistic to use alternate therapies, and that's certainly not true. Even if you are very bad at writing, very bad at art, there are some ways that you can use. I mean, I remember once I had to draw a picture in a therapy session of what happened to me in about year 8, and I remember drawing a picture of cuts all over my arm, and that was the only way I could use to describe what I'd been doing to myself. And it didn't have to be like an A-star drawing, it was just literally a bit like a line with just some cuts on it. It wasn't like detailed, it wasn't anything like that, but it's a way, it's a method. People often think that you have to be like amazing at those things to do them. I mean, I'm not good at art at all, and I still managed to kind of convey what had happened about me. Poetry is also a really good one as well, because I used to write poetry. I don't anymore, which is it's quite sad really. I don't really have the time to do poetry. Obviously I still blog, I don't really write poems. But when I was really badly bullied, and when I started struggling with anorexia, I did write a lot of poems about my struggles and emotions. And my counsellor at the time actually asked me to show him the poems, and I'd written a lot of things about my dad, and just a lot of emotions that were going on in my head. And I remember once he told me that they almost actually made him cry, but he could really connect with me after that, and he could understand everything that was going on in my head. And that was really important for me, that somebody understood that. And I think with poetry as well, this gives you the amazing opportunity to build on your vocabulary, especially with blogging as well. It gives you the opportunity to learn new words. I mean, I love learning new words and new vocabulary, and I do try and be as complex in my vocabulary as I can, because I love the English language and I love everything it stands for. So I love learning new words and being eloquent and being, you know, coherent with my speech, and I love channeling that into the poetry and the writing that I do, because I'm such a literature lover, and I think I take a lot of my inspiration from my writing out of reading marvels of classic literature. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and a number of Jane Austen novels. I've also been reading recently like some memoirs of like depression sufferers and anorexia sufferers. So I guess with me, like the whole idea of literature and writing and English and words, and it gets me all excited. I was just watching Ariel's video about how she can't imagine a life without writing, and I guess in a way that's my kind of theory. I'm one of those kind of grammar freaks. I'm very kind of sincere in the way that I say things, and I just love it. Like, really. And it's personally helped me because I look back a lot at my WordPress blogs. For those of you who did used to follow me on WordPress, all those whiles ago, I have had a number of blogs over the years, and I do like to chop and change every now and again, and at the moment I am with Blogspot. But when I when I have my WordPress blog and I do look back on that, and I realise how deep in despair I was, and I realise my writing now is so much more positive and so much more focused on the future, and I'm not miserable, I'm not thinking of the past in a negative way. I'm really trying so hard to be that positive person, and I can also be honest. I don't have to lie to anybody. I think it's very, very easy to just, when you're talking to someone, to just lie out of your teeth, because you think that's going to be an easier option. With writing, I think you actually have to sit down and think constructively about what you want to say. And if nobody's going to read it, especially, then you can be completely honest. It is better if you can show it to somebody. But it means you don't have to say it, and this is probably going to have to be all for today, and I'm genuinely sorry about that. But do check out the next video for Fabulous Friday. Please buy Wreck This Journal, because I think some of the ideas do sound very, very silly, but it's also, if you check out the Wreck This Journal website, which if I remember I will put a link below, you can check how everybody else, like all other people, have wrecked their journals. And it's just, you don't have to be an artist to do Wreck This Journal. It's also for people who love, like, people like me who love keeping books perfect. Like, when you crack the spine, I hate cracking the spines of books because it just irritates me, and I can't do it, and I like everything perfect and in its position. And it's for people like you and me, perfectionists, people who find the opportunity to be creative very difficult. This gives you tons and tons of ideas to be creative, and yes, buy one off Amazon. And I hope you understand that writing means a lot to us girls. Definitely writing for me. It probably sounds like I have repeated a lot of the things that the other girls have said, but it has been a huge part of my life. I've succeeded at English since I was a young girl. Very much have contemplated it for university, especially literature, for a long time. Succeeded marvellously in my English exams, so I am a bit of a pro. Sorry to big myself up, but at English, so yes. Okay, so I think that is enough from me for today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching again this week, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!